Soviet Union? Yes. The United Kingdom? Abstain. The United States? Yes.
In its early years, the United Nations supported Israel.
The Jewish people at once began to celebrate the United Nations decision.
But over time, dictatorships hijacked the world body and turned it against the Jewish state.
Israel persists in ethnic cleansing, racial discrimination, destruction of homes, aggression against places of worship.
These violations include extrajudicial killing, arbitrary detention, collective punishment, displacement of Syrian families.
A flagrant violation of international law.
These violations are tantamount to war crimes and crimes against humanity.
An imposition of an apartheid regime.
Colonization and apartheid. The expansion of Jewish settlements and murdering innocent civilians.
UN Watch is the voice of truth at the United Nations.
On Friday, next to holy sites in Jerusalem, Palestinian terrorists carried out 2 simultaneous stabbing and shooting attacks, killing 23-year-old Hadass Malka. Why is it that the state of Palestine refused to condemn the murder of this woman? Why instead did his government condemn Israel for the deaths of the attackers, calling it a, quote, war crime?
When the UN expert on women issued a report scapegoating Israel, UN Watch took the floor.
Recognizing a clear link between prolonged occupation and gender-based violence.
How do you know there is a, quote, clear linkage? Where is the data? What you are saying is as follows: when Palestinian men beat their wives, it's Israel's fault.
When the UK changed its policy and voted against an annual resolution targeting Israel, they relied on UN Watch facts and figures to make the case.
The Council has adopted 135 country-specific resolutions, 68 of which were against Israel. By continuing an unacceptable pattern of bias against Israel, the Council discredits its voice.
UNRWA is a UN agency that runs schools for Palestinians. But UN Watch exposed how UNRWA teachers use Facebook to incite terrorism and anti-Semitism.
What do you say to those kinds of reports?
False Facebook pages which don't belong to any UNRWA schools, to any UNRWA teachers.
So what do you mean by false Facebook pages? Because that obviously is the source here, UN Watch. Are you saying that these claims are not real?
Correct.
Yet UN Watch continued to expose UNRWA incitement, and the agency was forced to suspend 21 employees. When UNRWA launched a global fundraising campaign centered on Aya from Gaza, portraying Israel as her oppressor, UN Watch showed it was a fraud. The photo was in fact from the war zone of Syria and had nothing to do with Israel. Humiliated, UNRWA was forced to apologize. UNRWA's political bias was once again exposed to the world, thanks to UN Watch. UN Watch pressed the US and other top donors to hold UNRWA to account. Finally, UNRWA's biggest donor changed course.
We have mentioned to UNRWA and have said multiple times it needs to be reformed. We're going to reevaluate the relationship.
UN Watch is the voice of truth in the media.
The mission of UNESCO is noble, just like the mission of the UN is noble. But the fact is, like other UN agencies, dictators have hijacked this agency. Iran and Sudan are members of the governing board. As we exposed several years ago, they had elected Syria to UNESCO's Human Rights Committee.
Here is a bit of context that you might not know. According to UN Watch, which monitors the United Nations General Assembly from 2012 through 2015 has adopted 97 resolutions specifically criticizing an individual country, and of those 97, 86% have focused on Israel. Is Israel truly deserving of 86% of the world's condemnation?
UN Watch is a voice of truth on campus. As Syria's Bashar al-Assad commits war crimes against his own people, his former UN spokesman was hired by Rutgers University to teach the laws of war. UN Watch sounded the alarm.
So UN Watch has called on the school to fire this guy.
UN Watch, they've launched a petition. They're urging people who want to dump this professor, basically, to sign the petition.
But the university will defend their rights to academic freedom and to speak freely. Not good enough for the group UN Watch.
Pressure mounted, and Rutgers reversed course. Thanks to UN Watch, he was fired. When Washington needs advice about the Human Rights Council, they bring in UN Watch.
There is an automatic majority at the Human Rights Council of about 25 to 30 out of 47 states that will support any measure singling out Israel.
UN Watch rallies opposition worldwide to fight anti-Semitism and anti-Israel bias.
If you believe in women's rights, you stand with Israel, you don't stand with Hamas and Iran and Saudi Arabia.
UN Watch educates public opinion at global conferences and public lectures. UN Watch is a leader on social media, spreading the truth to millions worldwide.
You use this platform to mislead the international community to believe that Israel is responsible for the problem you create.
The struggle against anti-Israel bigotry at the United Nations is a battle for truth that has lasted for decades.
Arab governments methodically prepared and mounted an aggressive assault designed to bring about Israel's immediate and total destruction.
Once upon a time, the Middle East was full of Jews. Algeria had 140,000 Jews. Algeria, where are your Jews? Where is the apartheid, Mr. President?
With your help, UN Watch will continue the fight and continue to light the candle of truth.